Hi there, Internet Associate. It's Anthony, and I'm here again with my good friend,
Island.
and we're about to watch another episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So what is this, Kyland?
The prom.
You gotta be like, this is season 3, episode
Oh,
20,
yeah. This
The
is
Prom.
season 3, episode 20, The Prom.
So you got any ideas for what might be gonna happen in this episode, since the title's kind of vague?
No, it's not vague at all, Anthony.
Yeah.
It's obviously going to be about the prom.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you Cordelia is going to be in that dress that she was looking at last episode.
Okay. That's a good
That'd be
prediction.
cool if they did that.
Yeah. For sure. This is cool. This kind of also signifies not only that we're getting close to the end of the season, but getting close to the end of the school year, since those things kind of coincide.
Yeah,
So they're
that's
almost
true.
out of high school. That's crazy.
And they are seniors, so they would be going to prom too.
Right, exactly.
Did you go to your prom?
I was just about to ask you the same question. No, I didn't go to mine.
Dang. That's crazy. I went to prom twice, 2 years.
You went junior and senior year?
No, I went in my sophomore year.
Oh.
And I went in my junior year.
Oh, so you were just one of
My
those.
senior year.
Oh, I was about to say, so you didn't even go in senior year. So you were just one of those cool people that just went in your sophomore year.
I mean, I got asked by somebody, and to be honest, I really didn't want to say yes, but I said yes anyway, because I didn't want to be mean.
Yeah, I feel you. I never was into that stuff. I never wanted to go. And people always be like, oh, you're going to regret it. Well, so far, I mean, I'm like about 5 years out of high school now, still don't regret it. So I don't know. And in 8th grade, I don't know if you remember, but I purposely got in trouble to get out of going to the 8th grade prom thing. But which was, I don't know, weird times. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into Buffy the Vampire Slayer, season 3. Episode 20, The Prom. He's just watching her sleep.
To go kill a cat on my head.
No mirrors.
Oh, dang.
This really isn't girl friendly. No mirrors, no natural.
It's not even human friendly. What are you doing, Buffy?
Oh, sorry.
She didn't know, I guess.
I guess it's later than we thought.
That's awkward.
Yeah, really. That was a really awkward and weird cold open.
Yeah, like starting out with Angel just sitting over her while she's sleeping.
And then why does it feel like she was on board with all that stuff, but he wasn't?
It definitely did feel like that, didn't it? Like, it was like he was just kind of thinking in his mind, how do I politely say I don't want to do this, but just hadn't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
Which is definitely a situation I found myself in a lot of times. Not even in that type of context necessarily, just constantly trying to figure out how to say no, but before I figure it out, I'm just constantly saying yes, and I'm like, why am I doing this?
Wish. When I lost my powers, I got stuck in this persona, and now I have all these feelings. And I don't understand it, I don't like it, all I know is I really want to go to this dance, and I want someone to go with me.
Dang, that's gotta suck.
Please fill my heart. Choice is kind of a broad term for my situation. See, it's either Anya or the sock puppet of love for this.
It's kind of like what we talked about last episode with Xander and his lack of choices in life.
Well, if Anya tries to...
But I think we both know that there are some hard choices ahead. If she can't make them, you're gonna have to.
Dang.
I know you care about her.
So it was blue and
Kind of is being kind of real with him.
Honestly, the first time I've been on board with the mom.
Is scheduled to do just that.
The trouble is, we don't know which demon he's going to become.
What were they just doing?
Thousands of species.
Really?
So, it's when I will be aiding Mr. Giles in his chaperoning duties.
Why?
Fine.
Does he even work at the school?
You know, we should take April Fools. Don't go there. One night of glory, not too much to ask.
I don't know why. And like the sound effect with it and everything just made it such a dramatic shift.
Shift in tone?
Yeah.
Wow. And then they have this thing locked up in there.
Really.
Like, what is...
If any man can show just cause.
Is this Angel and Buffy?
Joined together. Let him speak now.
Angel?
Whoa, what a reversal.
Yeah.
And that's such a common wedding thing too, when they walk outside
Yeah.
of the church and it's like sunny and everything. So it's cool how they made it apply in that type of situation.
Because he was just trying to shake us up.
He was right.
No. No, he wasn't. He's the bad guy.
That's not the best reason to say he wasn't right though.
He'll always be a slayer. But that's all the more reason why he should have a real relationship instead of this freak show.
I guess one could make the argument she wouldn't be being fair to a regular person being a slayer in a relationship with them.
Buffy.
Yeah, that's true.
You have a heart. It isn't even beating.
Dang.
Don't.
Don't what? Don't love you? I want my life to be with you.
I don't.
Jeez.
I can't believe you're breaking up with me.
So they were dating.
Doesn't mean
That's what this whole thing was?
I mean, I guess it kind of was clear that that's what it was, but we just weren't putting any labels on it. Dang, and he did it before prom too.
Wow. That's a big showstopper.
Yeah. So crazy for a show
That was
that's
a really intense Angel and Buffy scene.
it was. For a show that's
All
so
the ones we've seen, I think that one might have been the most tense.
I agree. I mean, it was definitely up there. But for a show that's so like, based in fantasy and fiction, that conversation felt so much more real than what you would see on most shows that are about like just straight up real life.
He's a super maxi jerk for doing it right before the prom.
It's not his fault.
This is the second time this happened to Buffy.
3 years old, he doesn't exactly get the prom.
Scott broke up with her before a dance
He
too.
should, if he...
Well, it's okay. Right now, I'm just trying to keep from dying.
Dang.
Wow. This got really dark.
I feel like I...
They still haven't even fought that beast
Oh
that
my
was in
God.
that cage.
Every time you think like
Yo, school's raging right now.
oh my gosh, we were just having that like heartfelt moment. I was about to say every time you think Sarah Michelle Gellar can't get any sadder. Oh my goodness. And then it just boom. Oh my gosh.
That's the same dress.
No dresses, no cell phone, no car. Everything has been taken away because Daddy made a little mistake on his taxes.
Ah, so that's
For the
why.
last 12 years.
Dang.
Name tag person. Don't leave that out. The story just wouldn't have the same punch.
Here comes this thing.
Not really. If I'm not mistaken, this is a hellhound.
Dun dun dun.
Particularly if they feed off the brains of their foes.
Look, right there. Zoom in on that.
It's a videotape.
So, they do it on television all the time.
Not with a regular VCR, they don't.
Perhaps we could stay on the topic for once.
Thank you for staying true to life.
Were you?
Well, I just wanted to say that your impersonation of an inanimate object is really coming out.
Thanks.
Read the room, Xander.
Oh, I got into Tucker's email account.
That's... Good luck. He's a weird kid.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
What an awkward place to run into your ex.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, only Buffy and Angel.
Help you.
I'm okay.
If you ever need my help.
Look, I got it.
See, that's why you can't get involved with the person you fight crime with. Because then when things end, things get kind of inconvenient.
You want to go after them and tell them that they can't go? That all of their planning and dreaming was for nothing? That they can't spend tonight with their honeys of all nights?
Buffy's just trying to give them what she can't have.
Angel's not taking you, is he?
I love how Giles can just read
Angel's
everything so
leaving me.
well.
Buffy, I'm sorry.
But the thing is I'm not sorry though.
I mean, you can still be sorry for it even if you think they shouldn't be together.
Ice cream.
No, I just feel like they were getting
Nice
real.
prom.
They were getting real buddy.
Like at least they're like starting to face the truth, I guess, or reality. But you can't blame them for getting caught up in that while it was happening and being sad about it now. I feel like.
Man.
How are you both? And details, please.
Very well, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
It looks good on you.
Well, duh.
They finally didn't say anything mean to each other.
Yeah.
That's nice of Xander to have bought the dress.
The prom's a go, and you're pathetic.
Like, was that supposed to do something to me?
I don't get it. What kind of sicko wants to destroy the happiest night of a senior's life?
I have my reasons.
You didn't have a date?
You want to go to the prom with me?
No.
Really? Oh my gosh, I was
Every
just
man
joking.
has his reasons. Now I'm gonna lock you in here, and then I'm gonna party like it's not.
Gotta have a redundancy
Oh,
system.
snap.
Seriously?
Knows that.
I wish they would have played that duh sound effect 3 times in a row when we saw those 3 cages. They kind of remind me of Oz when he's a werewolf.
Ah, snap.
Nice one. Wow, Buffy's a straight savage. Just, wow.
Yo, she just.
These people in Sunnydale don't even question stuff like this.
You're welcome.
It seems like there's just this unsaid understanding of the evil that goes in Sunnydale. Like, people don't, other than Buffy and her friends, people don't talk about it, but when they see something, they don't question it that much.
Yeah, really. They're just like, whatever.
Yeah. Killed 3 hellhounds. That's off my checklist. Now I can go to prom.
For Sunnydale High's class clown for 1999 goes to Jack Mayhew.
Yeah, I bet this dude doesn't have anywhere near the one-liners as Xander.
Most of us never found the time to get to know you, but that doesn't mean we haven't noticed you. We don't talk about it much, but it's no secret that Sunnydale High isn't really like other high schools.
I was just saying
A lot
that.
of weird stuff happens here. Proud to say that the class of '99 has the lowest mortality rate of any graduating class in Sunnydale history.
Wow.
That's funny.
That's really funny that that's what they keep track of.
And we know
Really?
at least part.
I mean, there are some high schools in the hood that can probably relate.
Chased a dance.
For God's sake, man, she's 18. And you have the emotional maturity of a blueberry scone. Just have at it, would you, and stop fluttering about.
Joss was like, she's legal. It's still, I mean, at least now she's about to graduate high school. Once she graduates high school, I guess everything's fine. It's just weird that she's still in high school.
You did.
Look who it is. I thought it was going to be Scott. That was definitely the nice thing to do.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like Angel still got suckered into that.
What? Going to the prom?
Yes. Obviously, it's the nice thing to do.
But you don't think he should have done it?
I mean, if I'm being straight up, no. I
He said
don't.
no.
I just don't like this.
Oh my
I don't like
gosh.
them going about like they can pretend like everything is all normal. It's not.
No, I know what you mean. I guess it's like one of those things where it's like, well, if this is the last time, like, if as long as they both
Yeah,
understand,
whatever.
this is just as long as they both understand, this has to be it, you know? Angel obviously didn't want to go to the prom. So, and I'm not saying this was his reason, although it's definitely kind of funny to think about. Obviously, he's been having all this stuff, like Joyce just talked to him, but the mayor was talking about it last episode, and I'm sure he's thought about before how in the long run, it's really not a good idea for him and Buffy to be together, and it probably would be the right thing for like him to break off with her since she might not have been able to do it. And so the time where he finally decides to do it is when this dance is coming up that he didn't feel like going to. So he was like, oh, this is a good time now for me to do that. Because I know I definitely be having that thought process with some things when I don't want to do something, then I finally find a good reason to finally do what I didn't want to do or something like that. I'm like, oh, well, there we go. But yeah, so that's why I'm kind of like, well, it does, like, when I think about it like that, I'm like, okay, it seems like that was kind of the right thing to do, to just go ahead and do it, even though he didn't really want to. and everything.
Yeah.
Just to consider, like, you know, I mean, I guess Buffy's feelings in this one case and going to a single dance isn't going to hurt him nearly as badly as the other stuff that they do and everything.
I mean, I'll say it was considerate, but I still don't think he should have done it.
You think it might like make it even harder for them to split up?
Yeah, I feel like it's just gonna be adding extra sorrow to, or more. It's gonna be just because when you just, it's not gonna be over until it's over.
Mm-hmm.
So like, we still have now, between now and then graduation. And granted, graduation is not that far, and it's literally the next episodes that we're gonna be looking at the ascension and graduation. But I'm just saying, like, there's still time to want to be with somebody. I feel like you need to be starting to cut contact as soon as you possibly can. Like, only speaking to this man when it's regarding a mission.
A mission.
And really not even like patrolling. I'm talking about an ascension related mission. Like, it's got to be something like serious if we're gonna be talking now. That's how I'm trying to feel like they should be.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that point of view for sure. Because I was also thinking, like, okay, so is it worse to just go ahead and break up with her before the prom so that there's not that, you know, that would make it probably even harder when they separate? Or is it better to go ahead and let that prom happen and then, you know, then that way they can break up at least with that moment? I can definitely understand, you know, both, you know, schools of thought, as one may say. But obviously he ended up doing what he ended up doing. So I guess it worked out. But what did you think about the episode as a whole?
It was all right. I think the Hellhounds were not that they looked fine, but I think they were just kind of underused to me. And I mean, I guess the whole point was to have Buffy like save the prom or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they achieved that with it. But I don't know. It just felt like a pretty easy victory for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she didn't really have to do much to find him.
Yeah. It was definitely one of those episodes where the monster of the week was super in the background and was hardly even, you know, I guess the focus at all. So, and it's in cases like those, I don't really mind that, because I feel like if it had been really hard for her to do that and that had been a whole thing on top of all that, it's hard to imagine how that would have fit into everything else going on in this episode without things starting to feel rushed and cluttered and everything, to me at least. But I don't know. But
yeah, no, I guess I see what you're saying. I don't know. I don't really have a problem with it being in the background, but I also just feel like there's some victories that she has that are just like gimmies.
Yeah.
Like, but and then I'm only saying something because at this point I feel like as a viewer I'm kind of picky, like, because I've seen Buffy like do some real crafty stuff to get out of a situation, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. And I mean, I've talked about this on other shows too that I've reacted to, like on Lucifer. Like, just because something is not the focal point, because they have Case of the Weeks over there, just because it's not the focal point doesn't mean it can't be executed better than it was executed. And because I remember I've said that on Lucifer episodes and people would always be like, but that's not the point of the episode. You're looking at it too much like it's a police procedural. But I'm like, no, I'm just saying that's the vehicle. They could still, you know, maybe it could have been executed better as a vehicle. In this case, so that's why I do see where you're coming from, although it feels a little bit different for me in this case, only because it felt like the vehicle, while the case was kind of it played a part, it didn't feel like the monster of the week this time was the driving vehicle like it has been even in some other Buffy episodes, because her whole thing about wanting to, you know, save the prom and allow her friends to have, you know, this fun night and everything, she felt like maybe she couldn't have it herself. And then they used the monster of the week to play into all that. That was really cool how they, you know, put it together, but I didn't feel like that was like, you know, this monster of the week case was kind of driving the overall metaphor and theme of this episode, if that makes sense, like it has before. So that's the only reason why I kind of give it.
That makes sense.
I give it some slack. Like I can't think of a particular episode off the top of my head right now, but there have been some episodes where, you know, not only is the monster of the week, it's kind of in the background because it's not the main focus, but it's still the driving vehicle that like you can take every aspect of the monster of the week, that episode, and apply it kind of metaphorically to what's going on and see that, okay, like this means that, this means that, and this means that. And so when a monster of the week isn't done that well in that case, and yet even if the story is good, then that's when to me it definitely feels kind of undercooked and underdeveloped. But I do understand where you're coming from. I guess I'm just giving the reason why to me it didn't feel that way in this episode particularly. But how about the acting this episode though? Right? Like,
Oh yeah, that was pretty good. That Buffy and Angel scene, we've seen a lot of them, but that one was pretty. Yeah, that was pretty intense for me, man.
And then even the scene right after that with Buffy and Willow, at least
Yeah.
like, I mean, it like the way that, Sarah Michelle Gellar is able to portray, kind of this, deep sadness and sometimes just being completely distraught, other times being, completely, kind of, I guess, removed, if you know what I mean. It's just so good. And it feels like you don't see that often on shows of this nature. Like you get kind of the surface level drama, like, oh, I'm sad about this happening, I'm gonna run off and cry, that type of thing. But the way it feels like she just completely leans into that emotion and that feeling and has like a full understanding of how Buffy is feeling in that moment just feels pretty, pretty unique and pretty above par for what you might usually get from, television in general, or like teen TV shows, or WB TV shows. Not trying to like put any type of stigma on anything, but it's definitely just feels
I
like
get what you're saying.
this is just like a cut above the rest, if you know what I mean, in a lot of different ways. So I don't know. I mean, like that, and the writing too. Like, I mean, because that acting is supported by excellent writing. It just feels like the way they talk about things, you don't hear characters talk about things like that on TV shows usually, and I don't even know how to describe that. It just feels like
I get it. They it's like there's their own lingo,
But not even that right now. That's not even what I mean like right now, even though that is true. But I'm more so mean like Buffy and Angel this episode, when they were talking about, like Buffy wouldn't be able to have children if she stayed with Angel and all this other stuff. The way they were saying it, it was something about the realism of it that just felt a little foreign from what you might usually see on a TV show. Like it felt like they were kind of just discussing things the way that real people have conversations, rather than like, talking about it on a more kind of, huge, macro glamorized TV level. It just felt really real life. I don't know how exactly to describe what I mean, but it just feels like they have the way they talk about the things just feels real to me. And I appreciate that. I wish I could word that better or give a better specific example of what I mean, but it's definitely a feeling that I get.
I feel like Xander's kind of redeemed himself for me at this point. Like I wasn't as put off by him as I usually am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it felt like that was meant to be kind of a redeeming moment between, when he bought the dress for Cordelia and she said thank you, and they kind of just smiled at each other.
Yeah.
What did you think of that moment? Before I give you my thoughts.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good. It just kind of showed me that like, even though Xander is always like making fun of her, like he still cares about her,
Yeah, and I guess what I wanted. So, what do you think that meant? Do you think like they're gonna get back together? Do you think it's just like they're gonna end their sort of feud, or like what do you see for them now in their future?
Yeah, I think their feud it's either not going to be as harsh as it usually is, or it's not going to be there at all. Like I could see them poking fun at each other every now and again.
Yeah, like the way they did before. But I mean more so like, the feud they've had since he broke up with her, when things have gotten way more.
Oh, you mean that feud?
Yeah, because they've obviously not.
I think at that point,
well, at least Cordelia,
everything is resolved.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it seems like everything is resolved at this point.
So, and like, I mean, do you think it's resolved and that's it, or do you think they're getting back together too, or like it's just resolved?
No, I don't think they're getting back together, and I don't want them to get back together.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
I don't know. I wanted Willow and Oz to get back together more than I want Cordelia and Xander to get back together, because like I don't think they're good for each other.
Mm-hmm. They're better as just friends.
If you can call it that.
He said, if you can call it that. Dang, so dang, who is good for Xander then? It's like Buffy is better as just friends for him. Cordelia's better as just friends for him. Obviously, him and Willow weren't gonna work out. So who's better? Who is good for Xander?
Mean, I don't know. I guess that leaves him with Faith.
With Faith? Oh yeah, good point. Good point. Who wasn't even in this
because
episode?
he did lose his virginity to Faith, so it's like, is he gonna follow up with that or?
Makes sense.
I mean, I guess he can't now.
Because she's evil and everything. So you want to see Xander turn to the dark side is what you're saying?
No, not really. I don't know. I just hope they just don't kill off Faith. And that's what I'll say about that.
Makes sense. Because she has. So you don't want them to kill her off, but you don't think she is gonna be redeemed either. So you think she's just gonna continue to be?
No, I didn't say that I don't think she'll be redeemed. I just said that it would take a lot for her to redeem for me.
Oh, okay.
Like, I was saying that, like, at this point she had just done a lot of things to me, to Buffy, that I feel like it would just take a lot to redeem. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying it would take a long time for her to redeem herself with me.
Yeah, makes sense. I didn't mean like with you personally. I guess I more so meant like with the show. I don't know. But yeah, I totally see where you're coming from.
In general, yeah. Do I think it'll be hard to redeem her in context of like the show? But I mean, if they keep her on the show, unless she's just an antagonist, like, I feel like that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, makes sense. Totally.
I have a couple of gripes with this season one thing I'll mention about now, because it's related to this episode, the whole Cordelia. I feel like that whole like little story that they carried from last episode to this episode with her actually working at the place and then Xander buying it. I feel like this should have happened a lot earlier in the season for me, and I feel like it's kind of rushed at the end.
To me, the aspect of it that felt a little rushed was the aspect of Cordelia working at the place and her dad not losing the money in the first place. It felt like, unless I missed something, they didn't give any type of hints towards that whatsoever until last episode.
Yeah, and for me, it was just kind of weird because she just kind of like dropped everything all at once. Like, she really just there was a period where she just kind of had just like a paragraph of text to just explain like why she was working there. And I mean, I guess I kind of understood the point, but I also kind of took it as it being explained to me that now Cordelia is just in this circumstance or in this position.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean. It's one of those kind of like show don't tell situations.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I hate when shows like talk down to me, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I'm not saying that was the intention, but for me it just felt like, I don't know. There could have been. I feel like if they would have given that more time, there could have been a much better way to do that. And because they give hints for other things in Buffy all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, they've been hinting at the mayor before the mayor was even like around for the longest. Mm-hmm. So he's always been this cryptic thing. And then and I'm sure if I go back and rewatch everything, I'll see a bunch of clues about the mayor that I didn't even notice the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I almost wonder if with this Cordelia thing, if they could have, I don't know if this would have worked better. I wonder if it would have worked better if they did the reveal by first revealing it to the audience in a show don't tell type of way where, you know, like, well, they did do that actually kind of with the store, I guess. But so that kind of was, I guess, where they revealed it to the audience first, when they revealed that she was working at the show, but they didn't reveal the reasons behind that or like why that was. That's when she just kind of did that exposition dump on Xander, which I understood the point of, because that was meant to be like a revelatory moment for Xander and the audience, just in, like, you know, finding out why she was at the store. But I see where you're coming from too. In a way, it kind of felt like it didn't completely work for me because it just didn't have enough setup and everything. Like, it just didn't have enough, like, you know, background to where you can look back and be like, that's why that happened. That's why that happened. And that's why that happened. Maybe that was there and we just missed it. I don't know. but it feels like that all wasn't there. So it more so did kind of feel like a big exposition dump, explanation. Okay, this is what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is like with you
And
there.
it's just kind of wild to me because Cordelia's all this time they spent all this time making her just bitter as Xander. And like, yeah, I get it, she has every right to be bitter, but like as a viewer that gets kind of old watching like over and over and over. Like I mean, like to a certain point I was, like I said, like I understood and I got it, but then to an extent I was just like, dang, all right, how long is this gonna go on? And I just feel like I if this would have happened earlier, that would have balanced that out for me.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess you could maybe theorize that part of the reason she's been acting so bitter, as you say, this season, since what happened with Xander, is not only the Xander thing, but also compiled with everything she was going on with at home. Although that also kind of feels like one of those kind of, in hindsight, fan explanations to make something make sense, like headcanon rather than what was actually intended. But maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so I agree with you there. That did feel like it could have been just a few more seeds could have been planted there. And then even if it was handled the exact same way in this episode and last episode, it would have felt like it paid off a little bit better. So here are some facts about the episode. In the scene where Angel breaks up with Buffy, Sarah Michelle Gellar has admitted that she could not stop crying and the set was closed for 25 minutes to allow her to recover. Like, wow. Understandable. I mean, like I said, it felt like she really felt all of Buffy's emotions.
It's crazy. She was really in that scene.
Really. Like, it translated onto the camera too, definitely. That actually is almost not surprising to hear, because it's like, how can you get that in the moment and that sad and not really feel it, you know? Jessica Johnson, the winner of a Buffy Christmas sweepstakes, participated in this episode. Well, good for her.
Yeah.
Buffy's prom dress. Wait, I didn't mean to sound like it was just such a, it caught me off guard. I was like, oh, okay, awesome. Buffy's prom dress was, I mean, that probably was really awesome though. Buffy's prom dress was designed by Pamela Dennis, while Vera Wang designed her wedding dress. Incidentally, Wang also designed Gellar's wedding dress in 2002. That's cool.
Oh, wow.
Workplace connections leading to benefits in the personal life. Because Earshot's...
Small world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were working in the same place. I
don't know why I said small world.
Because Earshot's premiere was delayed out of respect for the Columbine massacre, victims and their families... Oh, it was delayed out of the Columbine massacre's victims and families. Viewers at the time were unaware of Buffy stopping Jonathan from committing suicide. The fact that Buffy saved his life makes his presentation of the Class Protector Award to her even more significant.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah,
she really did protect him.
Exactly. I was thinking that was a great moment to have with him after that. So it is crazy to think that people that watched it live didn't even see it like that at first. At the prom, when Giles and Wesley are at the snack table, Wesley is holding a red napkin. When it cuts to Cordelia walking in, Wesley chokes and says the salsa is hot. In this shot, the napkin is yellow. So that was a goof right there that happened.
I didn't notice that. I wasn't paying attention to the color of those napkins.
Yep. Well, all right then. I guess that'll wrap things up. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought about the episode. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. And head on over to Patreon for the full uncut reactions weeks ahead of the YouTube schedule. Till next time, I'm Anthony.
I'm Kyland.
And we will see you all later.